Hello, today we're talking to Françoise Murat, interior designer, garden and landscape designer. Hello Françoise.
Good morning, Sue.
You use ESI.info quite a bit, don't you? How does the kind of work that you do affect how you use it?
Yes, I do use ESI.info actually for every project. It gives me information on materials that I'm looking at. I look at the companies and the manufacturers that are closest to the projects I'm doing. So it's a very good database.
And because you have several different disciplines, you use several different sections of the site.
Yes, I do. So in external works, for example, I look at drainage, pavements, and furniture and lighting, and I use a lot of that, as well as soft landscaping for soil and soil that I need to bring in basically for some of the landscaping. In building design, I look at doors, windows, internal walls, ceilings, stairs and balustrades, flooring, of course, and I do look at acoustics sometimes and insulation. It just depends on the building project that I do. In interior design, I look at surface finishes a lot, as well as windows and architectural hardware, which I use a lot in my projects. Lighting, fabrics, art, and basically pretty much everything that's in the interior design homepage, basically. In building design, I look at rainwater management, which is quite important for us in the UK on some of the landscape projects that I do. And also building controls, which I learn a lot about on that section.
And they also have an environmental engineering section, which is sort of more of a heavy thing.
Yes, sometimes I go to that section when I need to have some really specific information that I need to convey to my landscapers, which are the ones that basically build the gardens or the landscapes that we design.
Now, today we're going to have a look at finding timber flooring online. Now, why wouldn't you Google for something like that?
The reason I don't use Google for any of the projects that I do, looking for materials and processes or manufacturers, is because it's just not focused enough, and it just gives you thousands of results, which are of no use to me. Time is precious, so I need to kind of get to the information quickly and efficiently.
So the most important thing is to find what you're looking for as quickly as possible.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Now, in this case, we're going to have a look at timber flooring. So where would you start?
Well, I'd go to the interior design section. I'd look at surface finishes.
Let's click on that.
And here you can see that it gives me quite a lot of results. Then I'd go to flooring.
Yeah.
And
we've got timber and laminate flooring here.
Yeah, so I'd go to that because I'm particularly looking for engineered floorboards, for example.
If you knew the brand that you wanted, you could probably go and have a look straight away. So, for example, Bowen here.
Yes.
This would show you all their products in this category, and you can then filter down by different species, different formats of material, and different edge detail.
Exactly, which is very good. And it's fast.
But at the moment, we're not looking for a particular brand, are we?
No.
Well, let's go back then to the flooring here.
Yes, I would look at all the manufacturers and suppliers.
So this shows us a list of 157 manufacturers who say that they produce timber and laminate flooring.
Yes.
And next, you'd go over and refine these down by the type of products they do. Is that right?
Yes, it just depends on the criteria I require for a specific project. So I'm looking at, for example, walnut.
Okay.
As a species. I'm looking at boards, which are easier to lay.
And down here we've got some accreditations.
Yes, we've got FSC accredited. It's very important to get accreditation for our timber that we place on various building sites that we do. So I would click on that.
That's good. So now we're down to 25 manufacturers that supply FSC accredited walnut boards.
Yes. So now I would choose a certain amount of manufacturers and have a look at their product profiles, for example.
Now, so far the manufacturers have uploaded 3 products that fit these criteria. We've got
Yes.
a solid hardwood flooring and what look like 2 engineered flooring products.
Yes. So I can have a look at all 3 of those.
What's the difference between solid timber and engineered flooring, Françoise?
Well, various clients sometimes say, "Oh, I want solid flooring," and of course you have to kind of explain to them that a lot of the wood will warp and is not as stable. So the difference is that engineered boards are constructed from a solid wood layer in different thicknesses, it just depends, and they're heat pressure bonded to plywood and sometimes other backings, it just depends on the manufacturer, which makes it very stable and also easy to lay for the contractors.
What would you do next? Would you ring up these manufacturers?
Yes, I would, to see exactly what they have in stock, which is really important, what their delivery deadlines are for various products. That's also important when I'm planning my schedules for various projects. And I would also check their assertions because, just to make sure that they've got what they say they have.
The other thing that you can do with this comparison page, is you can print it out and then use it as an aide-memoire, as a place to take notes.
Yes, it's very useful because we have different people working on different projects. And it's important that when I bring in a variety of people, whether it's the intern or an assistant or a contractor, they see where I found and where I've sourced the product. And also I can delegate to somebody and ask them to get the information for me and to also ask for samples, which are very important for us.
Hard copy information is very important to you as well, isn't it? I understand you have quite a library.
Yes, we have a room that's quite large, filled with books and brochures and materials. So it's our technical library, and it's really important for us. We do get a lot of interns, and so they use this as a learning or aide-memoire, as you've said. But also for people who work here or the contractors, I can pull up anything, make a copy, and take it on site. Because bearing in mind, as much as one can be technically very forward-thinking, when you go onto your building site, it's usually somewhere where the contractors or the people working there don't have access to iPads or PCs, so you can't show them information or technical information electronically. And I need to hand out lots of hard copies, so this is very useful for us.
Good. And if we went to one of the featured products, like this one here, the other thing that you could do is you could actually download their brochure or have a look at it. Let's put it in another tab. So all this information is immediately available to you.
Yes, it's very useful. It gives me the background to the company, which is important to me, where it's based. It also gives me technical specification, for example, on their products. So it does give you a lot of information, and I usually have a look at that before I choose my products.
And it's a useful thing to do for manufacturers to upload this information, even if you need it in hard copy, because it helps you self-qualify yourself for their product, really. It helps you contact them only if they're right for you.
Absolutely, it's crucial, actually.
Yeah, so you can make that decision for them.
Yes, and I can make a quick decision. So yes, it's very useful.
The other thing you could do is, if you wanted to, you could save a product profile like this. I'll just log in to the MyESI section. There we go. And now I've added this flooring to a folder.
Yes.
That we can come back to again and add things that we want to keep a bookmark of. for later use.
Yeah, that's really useful, because if you've got a few projects that you're juggling requiring different materials, and or you get distracted by telephone calls in the office or whatever, at least you've got, like you said, a bookmark where you can get back to. So that's really very useful, actually.
Now, you've mentioned how you often have interns in your office, Françoise. I imagine that CPD is really important for your business.
It is, and we take interns from the Education Business Partnership program, for example, who are quite young, and this is just mostly work experience. And then we have other interns who come in to work from 3 to 6 months. But also, various people who come and work with us at various times, and we have a lot of associates. So CPD is really important because it keeps you up to date with what's going on. And I'm not saying that in construction, things change every day, but I think it's really important to keep you going. And it gives you a certain dynamic in the office and makes you feel like, you're part of an industry that's moving forward.
So it's good to keep in touch with what's new, isn't it?
Absolutely. And a lot of the manufacturers actually on ESI put a lot of information, how to do certain processes, what materials to use for whatever process you need. So I find that very useful.
There are two ways that you can get information like that sent to you.
Mm-hmm.
One is the newsletters, which on each section page, there's a sign up. Here's the sign up page there.
That's right, yes.
And they produce newsletters which show case studies of projects and products and opinion and so on, and give you a good example of a good range of what's come up with their themed monthly, which is quite good. The other thing is that at the bottom of every page there's a whole series of blogs. So do you subscribe to any of these?
Yes, I do. Like I said, they're very useful. I may not delve in detail into each one, but definitely the way it's formatted alerts me to specific things I may want to have a look into. For example, like now you've got on the screen the Byron & Byron, they've got a new range out, which is quite a departure for them because they've always been renowned for their classical products, and they're going towards more bright colours, etc. So that's interesting to me.
That's interesting, yeah. And then their newsletter will take you straight to their company information.
Absolutely.
If you want to go and have a look at that, and their website and all their contact details.
That's right.
Which is great. Right, so in conclusion, Françoise, looking at how you use ESI.info at the moment, what do you think product manufacturers could provide online that would make your life a bit easier?
One thing that would be so useful, and I'm sure not just for me, interior designers or architects or anybody in the construction industry that uses ESI.info, is CAD blocks. Primarily we use AutoCAD, and this would be fantastic to download to my CAD plans. 3D blocks would be fantastic because I can look at the detail, I can include them in the plans, and I can do construction plans that are very detailed to the millimetre, which is really useful for me.
Yeah, so if they can upload that information on the relevant product pages, then you'd just be able to download it straight away, which would be fantastic.
Yes, that's right. The industry that does that quite a lot is the furniture industry for offices and the hospitality industry. So they already do that quite a bit, but other companies could do that. It would be fantastic.
That's great. Well, thank you very much for your time today, Françoise. I look forward to speaking to you again soon.
Thank you. You're welcome.